kidding? Just one shot?
They're not all zombies, Doug. How do you fight this thing?
Maybe we could drown it in A1 sauce.
Well, sometimes that is better. The person you put up there ain't the person that comes back.
It's a dance song to get down with. About 6 feet under. Get there.
Ooh, I love this song.
And now we come to the thrilling final episode of our radio drama.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Rotten Views Podcast. Welcome to episode 124, where we're going to be talking about Earth Girls Are Easy from 1988. But before that, I would like to say thank you to everyone who's been checking out the podcast, listening, sharing, leaving reviews, comments, and all that fun stuff. I appreciate you guys all. Appreciate everyone for checking out the YouTube page. Slowly going up in subscribers. We'll probably be at like 400 by the end of the week, maybe not. I'm not too sure. But I see the views going up on that a lot, and I appreciate that a tremendous amount because it does mean a lot. Yeah, I know there's a lot of rules getting changed on YouTube, but you know, it does mean a lot for someone who doesn't have a large subscriber base who's getting, you know, thousands of views every now and then. Not on the shorts, at least. On the full-time videos, for like the full-length videos, we're getting anywhere from like 30 to, you know, 40 and odd videos, which is, you know, it's kind of crazy because all I'm doing is just uploading my podcast for the most part. And I did have my first official full art stream video go up as well on Friday the 13th, where I did a tribute to Ted White, who played Jason Voorhees, who recently passed away last year. So definitely go check that out. That's the latest video, and we are going to have our first gameplay video coming out. It actually is going to be out by the time this video comes out. It's going to be episode 1 of Graveyard Keeper. So it's a fun little new game, but it looks like an indie game where you die and then you go to the old times where you got to take care of a graveyard in a town and everything. It looks interesting, you know. It's something different, that's for sure. Playing that on the PlayStation 4. It's free for the PlayStation Plus. But yeah, thank you to everyone who's been checking out the podcast, checking out the videos, checking out the artwork. I appreciate it all. If you guys can, just keep, you know, hitting that subscribe button, keep hitting that share button. Every little bit helps, and you know, it means a lot to me to see it growing and to see more people enjoying what I'm doing via either the artwork, the podcast, or the video game stuff. We hopefully will have some big news coming soon. I'm not going to speak too much on it. It's still in the works, but we do have a bunch of other stuff dropping very soon. And I do actually have a back catalog or back stock of minisodes set and actually recorded. We're going to do some TV episodes where we're just going to put out mini episodes, which are probably going to air, I want to say on Wednesdays, but that's also going to be my gameplay drop day on YouTube. So I don't know if people want that much content in one day, but maybe we'll see. We might switch it up. Maybe I'll do them on a Thursday or like a Tuesday. I don't know. We'll see. Podcast is always going to stay on Saturday. Usually out Saturday morning. Sometimes I do the drop around 5 p.m. but usually it's set for 7 a.m. drop. I guess, you know, with all that stuff out of the way, I guess we should probably get into what you guys are here for. We're here to talk about Earth Girls Are Easy, which is a first time viewing for me. I had a lot of technical difficulties getting this to actually set up. I have a digital copy and it just would not work for whatever reason. The video got corrupted somehow. It's from 1988. It's a sci-fi musical for an hour and 40 minutes, which is, it kind of does feel like, I'm not gonna lie, it does feel like it's not long. I actually had to watch it on Plex. It's a free TV app and it's actually free on there, so that was nice. The ads suck. I'm just gonna put it out there. Like, I can tolerate the Tubi ads, but at some point in time on Plex, it was like every 10 minutes an ad would pop up for 20 seconds. And it's just the same ad over and over again. I can only watch the same ad so much. But it is what it is. You know, I finally, after an hour of, you know, trying to save everything and get everything uncorrupted, you know, I just said screw it. I download the Plex app on the PS4. So you guys can definitely check it out. It seems like an interesting app. If you guys are into Jerry Springer, that's on the homepage. So, you know, classic Jerry Springer episodes. You can never go wrong there. Brings back the memories when I was a child. child and sick at home, sick, watching Price is Right and Jerry Springer and Maury and all those other fun things with my mother because, you gotta stay on the couch if you're sick or stay in bed. And of course, they didn't have control of the TV. So, we are here to talk about this movie, which has a 5.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 68% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 66% on Metacritic. Somewhat quick, not really quick synopsis of the film. Three furry and funny aliens travel around the universe in a spaceship and receive a broadcast showing human females. They are fascinated by these shapely creatures and discover that the broadcast came from Southern California on Earth. Meanwhile, Valley girl Valerie feels her cold fiance Dr. Ted Gallagher is slipping away and decides to seduce him. Instead, she catches him cheating on her with a nurse, throws him out, smashes his things, and refuses to see him again. The alien ship crash lands in Valerie's swimming pool, putting a decided damper on her future wedding plans in Las Vegas. She brings them to her home, and the aliens prove to be quick learners and absorb American pop culture and language through the television. Taglines are, Valerie's about to discover how far a girl has to go to find Mr. Right. Its genres are comedy, musical, romance, and sci-fi. It starts out as a strong musical, but it really tapers off, which I don't know. I guess it could have been more musical, but whatever. Jeff Goldblum, who plays the blue alien. I'm not even going to use their character names because I really don't want to. Jeff is the easiest name because it's Goldblum, or not Goldblum. It's his character name in the show is Mac. Him and Valerie, who's Gina Davis, were actually married during the production of this movie, which I thought was fun trivia. Anyways, I should also get into the cast. It's directed by Julian Temple, which I looked him up. Didn't really have anything worth talking about, but we got Gina Davis, who's also from Beetlejuice, of course. We have Jeff Goldblum. We have Jim Carrey as Whiplock. We have Damian Wayans as Zebo. And then there's Michael McKean as Woody. And that's really the main ones that are there. Apparently there's a goof when Valerie and Candy and the aliens stop at the club. There's a bag of fast food on the dashboard that wasn't there before, and apparently a deleted scene explains it. Mac extends his arm by feet to pick up the bag, and Val asks him if he can do that with any part of his body. Yeah, because she's a horn dog. Apparently on all DVD versions, the Vestron Pictures title, logo, and credit have been removed, with the film starting with a Crestral film production. It's I believe Lionsgate. This movie also came out on May 12, 1989, and it has a budget of $10 million roughly, which I think is great. Also, it says it's distributed by 20th Century Studios. I'm assuming it was bought out since then. I could be wrong. The copy on Plex said, I'm pretty sure it said Lionsgate.
And now, preview time. When it comes to entertainment, you can't beat a good film. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The following program is brought to you in living color.
Saturday Night at the Movies, the television series which each week brings you the finest in recent motion pictures.
She's a girl from Southern California, looking for Mr. Right and finding Mr. Wrong.
You brought a girl home to have sex?
Well, you weren't supposed to be here, Val.
If meaningless sex is what you want, why can't you have it with me?
They're aliens lost in space, looking for somewhere to land. It's love at first fright. Earth girls are easy.
I'm going to show you something that's going to totally change your life completely forever. Are they straight? I don't know. They're aliens.
So, what do you do with three furry aliens?
You've got to cut their hair.
What did you say?
You're incredible.
So, what's the plan for tonight?
We can't go out with these guys. They're aliens.
They can still be dates.
Their close encounters are of a different kind. Dancing in our nightclubs.
I'm going home with him.
Driving on our highways. Playing on our beaches. They boldly go where no alien has gone before.
We may not even be, anatomically correct for each other. That could be a real problem. No problem.
Earth girls are easy.
What is easy?
This is easy.
But anyways, with that being said, the movie starts out with the ship flying in space between the planets. It's kind of a cheesy shot, you know, with the age and everything. It's fine. It's understandable. But yeah, we see this blue hairy alien, which is Jeff Goldblum. He's in some kind of like sleeping stations inside the spaceship, and then we see I think it was a green alien playing with a tree, and then there's like it must not have been because there's only 3 aliens. I could have swore though I saw a green alien playing with a tree. It must have been one of the other colors. I must have just not been paying enough attention unless there is other aliens on the ship and then they just disappear. But then we have the red alien who's Jim Carrey playing with the electronics, and then the yellow alien is cooking some kind of stuff that's floating in the atmosphere, which is kind of weird, but you know, the aliens, they look like monkeys essentially. Then we see what I can assume is Jim Carrey's character. He's the red alien hovering over like this glass orb, and he's trying to I think an alien girl pops out of it, and then he gets all excited and they all start jumping around screaming, and then the intro music hit about, you know, Earth girls are easies. The credits start rolling, and then we go from space and we start zooming in on Hollywood, and we go past the Hollywood sign. Then we come into a girl's room as she's fast asleep in what looks to be a wedding dress with her cat. That is true because Valerie fell asleep in her wedding dress waiting for her fiance to come home, who was supposed to be home at 10 o'clock, but it's like hours later after that. And then he goes on, his name's Ted. She starts freaking out because he wakes her up when he's coming in the room, and she's like, you can't see me in the wedding dress yet, you know, it's, you know, against the wedding rules, and it's, you know, whatever bullshit. And then he's like, sorry, I was late at the hospital just working away. It was a real blood fest. And he's in the washroom, and we come to find out he's got a giant hickey on the side of his neck. He wasn't really working that hard at the office because he's a man whore. He's just got a lot of money and he likes to flaunt it, I guess, or just, you know, he's just a jackass in general. You know, one of the two, either one works. But anyways, Valerie's all excited that he's home, so she's kind of like getting all in the mood because she wants to do it. She wants to fuck. She doesn't want to wait around. She just wants to do it. Apparently it's been 2 weeks for her and she can't handle it anymore. But you know, Ted's just like, you know, I just want to go to bed. It's an early morning tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. And then she goes on about, you know, she's off to a nail seminar or something because she works at a hair salon and does nails and everything. And he's like sleeping on his one side, so the hickey's down with his back towards her, and she's trying to be all, you know, touchy-feely, and he just doesn't want anything to do with it at all. And that's when I realized at this point in time Valerie is also the main girl from Beetlejuice, which I thought was pretty cool. They go to bed together, of course, like I said, but all Ted wants to do is sleep. You know, Ted's already got laid today, probably a couple times by nurses, who knows, because he's that, you know, handsome, fancy man that gets whatever he wants. And then we cut to see Valerie showing up at work, and then there's the old lady with a walker trying to get out of the hair salon, nail salon, whole beauty salon aspect area. And Valerie's like, oh, I'm sorry I missed your appointment. I'm glad someone else, you know, was able to take care of you. And the old lady's just like, this door's a bitch, because she's trying to leave and she can't get her walker through, and the door to hold open at the same time because there's no handicap button to press the door to go open, so she's got to like manhandle her walker and the door at the same time, and it's really starting to piss her off. Then we cut to see Ted at the gym with all maybe his other doctor buddies. I don't know. They're all working out, and he's complaining about how he hasn't been in the mood to have sex with Valerie in weeks, and that he took a hot nurse home last night, but apparently he didn't get anything, even though he has a hickey on his neck, so, you know, that whatever. Then we find out her name is Valerie, that's working at the salon, because I don't think it was been mentioned till now. She's complaining that she hasn't had sex in 2 weeks to her coworker Candy, and then Candy's like, well, you just need to, you know, he's having some, you know, post-marital, you know, jitters and whatnot, and you need to just fix it. And she's like, how do you do that? Get him another woman. And then she's like, oh, great, that's going to help me out a lot. And then she's like, well, we'll just make you into a new woman. And then that's when we have this transformation going on, and then it breaks into a song in the salon all about making Valerie into a new girl for Ted to boost up the sex drive again. And during the songs, Valerie pictures herself in various forms as like a tomboy version, and then she's like this fancy rich looking girl, and then she breaks out the dominatrix outfit with the whip and everything, which got really weird at one point. Then we cut to Valerie as a blonde talking to the camera as if she's talking to Ted. She's fully done up in lingerie, and you know, she's reciting what she's essentially going to say to Ted once he finally makes his ass finally home. Then she's reading this book that tells her to put her perfume of choice, to spray it on a light bulb, and that's going to trigger her love trap. So she does it, and she's like, oh, I should add a little bit more. As she's adding more perfume onto the light bulb actually blows up, catches fire on the lamp, so she has to put it out, and then she sees the shadow of Ted coming home at the front door, so she runs into another room with the lamp, and she's hiding, and maybe she's in a closet. She might be actually in a closet, and Ted comes home, and come to find out, Ted is bringing home a nurse, and then he almost lets it slip out. He's like, this is where we live, and she's like, we? Oh, me and my cat. Yeah, just me and my cat. And then he, tells her to go get comfy in the living room. And she picks up the book that Valerie was just leaving, like How to Seduce a Man. And he's in the washroom, like taking all Valerie's stuff and like putting it away so the girl won't see it when she goes back in there. Or maybe the bedroom. Might have been the bedroom. And then the girl is reading the book and goes to sit down or backs up and gets a cactus prickle in the ass. And then Valerie decides to jump out of the closet or where she's hiding, and she hugs her because she thinks it's Ted. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know Ted was bringing someone home. I wouldn't be dressed like this if I knew. It's like, oh, goddamn, Valerie, you're stupid. And then Ted walks out of the washroom with just like some of his doctor equipment on, and in his box he's like, love doctor's here. And then he's looking all weird and confused. He's like, oh, I didn't know Three's Company. You brought a friend? Who's this? And he gets a little closer. He's like, oh shit, that's my fiance. God damn. So then the new girl is all confused, and she's leaving because she thinks this is set up by Ted and Valerie, like they want to do some swinger threesome thing, and she's like, yeah, it's not really my thing, I'm gonna leave now. And then at that point Valerie gets pissed off because she finally clues in to everything, and she kicks Ted out of the house. And then the neighbor across the way has like these big headphones on, and this old school like satellite dish looking thing that's picking up radio signals, and it's allowing you to hear better, and she's hearing the whole conversation. And then as Ted is driving away, Valerie yells at him to stop, but he's already gone because now she's having second thoughts about kicking him out because she's just such a nice person. And then she looks over and sees the neighbor listening in, so she yells for her to butt out of the business essentially. And that's when it's so loud that she's yelling that it pretty much knocks the neighbor down on her ass. And then Valerie cuts into a song inside the house, and she's like thinking about the old memories. There's like a picture of him working the barbecue that she smashes, and then she gets really mad and starts smashing everything of Ted's, just as a woman scorned would do. And she puts a football in the microwave because apparently he used to play football a lot, and he used to be a football player back in college or maybe high school, I'm not too sure. He looks the same in all these flashback scenes, so I can't really judge the timeline period. And then the next day, or also another thing she does, she puts 2 skis up, and then it's leading to his fancy computer back in the day, and she puts a bowling ball down the skis so it crashes into the computer and literally destroys it. Then the next day Valerie is on the phone with her coworker Candy, crying, saying how the blonde thing didn't really work out for her. Then we cut to the aliens as they are watching the old workout video. They're trying to touch their TV and trying to get into it because they're very attracted to the curvy women and their old school workout gear. Then the yellow alien, the Wayne's brother, he's on a telescope and he's zooming in on Earth, and then he zooms in on a girl who's in a bikini by her pool, which I didn't realize was actually Valerie at first. And then they scream in excitement as she takes off her top and rolls on her stomach to tan her back a little bit more. And then the ship starts to shake and sparks start going everywhere. And then the blue alien finally wakes up because the ship's pretty much nosediving to Earth now at this point in time, and he grabs some controls to try and land it a little better or get control of it in general. Then we see the spaceship coming closer to the girl by the pool, and of course, like I said, it's Valerie, which I didn't realize until this point. But this is where it gets a little weird and confusing because this spaceship actually lands in her pool and splashes enough and like gets her attention, but at the same time, like, you got 3 grown-ass men in this alien spaceship that fits in a pool that doesn't look like it's gigantic by any means. So the sizing, I don't know if they can shrink down before they go in the spaceship or how it works. It's just, I know money and budget and stuff, but it's just something that caught my eye. But anyway, she goes to jump in the pool to go check it out, and then she bumps her head on the spaceship underneath the water, and then she gets knocked out. So Goldblum, the blue alien, has to save her and brings her inside the ship. She wakes up thinking it's Ted saving her, and then she starts feeling the fur and she starts screaming, and then she realizes she's on a spaceship. She tells him, just do your test, do whatever you have to do, just probe me, whatever, do all your tests that you need to do. Just don't take anything out of me that I'm going to need later on, if I want to have birth or whatnot. And just let me go on my way, please. And as she's talking to the aliens and, just blabbing because she can't stop talking, the aliens are actually picking up on her English and kind of repeating her and mimicking her a bit, because in their language is completely different than the English language, of course. Valerie tries to leave the ship, and she pulls this random lever, and the alarms start going off, and then water starts spraying in. And she's like, ooh, did I do that? I was just trying to leave your ship. I didn't know. I just figured I'd pull any lever, and I could just probably get out. I assumed it was a door, but apparently it's a self-destruct mode. I don't know. Then they look around the ship, and it seems to have no power and no steering control at all. And then Val's like, well, let's go inside, have some lunch, and then we can get the pool drained, and then you guys can just go leave and get out of here. We see them all getting out of the spaceship, and then the nosy neighbor is trying to spy on them. She finally gets them all inside after they run into every single fucking wind chime that she has outside her patio door. They literally just walk into them, and Goldblum's looking around like, ooh, what's this sound? Stop walking into it. Then we see Jim Carrey fighting with the cat, and then he like does this love touch, and then the cat drops to the ground. There's like all these flimsy colors, and the cat's just laying on the ground all happy and relaxed now. Apparently that's her magical alien touch. And then after that, he grabs one of the fish out of the fish tank and goes to eat it, because, you know, why not? So then she shows them the fridge, and they start eating random stuff out of the fridge, and then they all each put a single egg in their mouth, and they walk over to her when she's at the pantry, and then she looks at them and goes, oh, you got eggs on your planet? And they're not cooked, they're just still full egg in their mouth, so she pops them on the back of the head to pop all the eggs out, and she catches all the eggs and just squishes them in her hand, and then she's like, I guess I'll just make some eggs for you. And then the Wayne's brother alien takes apart the lava lamp and takes I don't even know if he took the cap off. He might just chewed the cap off. But he starts drinking the lava lamp because Jim Carrey tries to go pee or poop on a random wagon by the looks of it that they have in their kitchen or living room area. So she takes him to the washroom. He's like, you go in here. So he decides to try and flush himself down the toilet because he doesn't understand. Then the pool drain guy, Teddy, I believe. Woody, I should know that. He shows up, and she goes outside to greet him and explain everything to him. And she leaves the aliens inside the house unattended by themselves. And then, of course, all havoc starts to break loose. They then see a TV and sit down and watch it, and they keep making sounds, like whistling sounds. Each time they make a whistling or clicking sound, it changes the TV, so they got some kind of mind control by the looks of it. They keep, going through each and every channel, just trying to pick up the various things. Then Woody, the pool man, is looking over the pool. He's like, well, why do you want to drain? He's like, oh, I just need some stuff done. I lost contact in there. I need to kind of find it, understandable, stuff like that. And then she's like, well, how long is it going to take to drain? He's like, oh, a pool this size is going to take at least a full day. And she's like, oh, full day, huh? Can we speed that up at all? Like, can we do anything to speed that up? Maybe get some buckets or something, Then we see the aliens inside whistling together to the Andy Griffith TV show intro. And then the phone rings, and they all look confused at it. And then Goldblum goes a little bit closer to it, and it takes over the answer machine. And then, of course, it's Ted calling to try and get Val back, saying how much he screwed up and how much he loves her and this and that, and how he's going to stop by tonight after work, and they're going to try and work everything out. Then Val comes back into the house, and Jim Carrey asks if they are in Finland. She's like, no, it's a far away ways. And then Goldblum starts repeating everything that Ted said on the answer machine, so she starts freaking out. Then we cut to Valerie taking the aliens to the salon, and she tries to explain everything to Candy, but she won't listen. She's like, you're just, you're overreacting, you're being crazy, all this is related to Ted and the feelings you have for Ted, and you're just overreacting to everything. There's not really aliens. And then she goes to show Candy the aliens, because she has them set up in the hair chairs with the dryer ball thingy on top. I don't know this technical term. The big puffy thing. I don't know. Anyway, she takes the mask off all of them and takes the gowns off of all of them, and Candy actually chokes on her cigarette as they all stand up, and she starts yelling at them, asking what they want. And then Candy says, well, are they straight? I'm just curious, are they straight? Yeah, I'm just, you don't know yet? Riley says they can't go back till the pool is drained, because Ted will cut them open and do tests on them, because Ted, I guess, wants to be famous for cutting open aliens now too. Valerie suggests giving them a haircut, and that's when Candy looks at their hair. He's like, oh yeah, it's a bunch of dead ends, we'll have to cut it all off. Just cut it all off. Then we cut to them being done, and we see, the normal-ish version of Jim Carrey, who's never really normal, in a red muscle shirt, because they have that Power Ranger thing where they gotta wear one piece of clothing that relates to the color that they used to be. So he's got the red muscle shirt on. Wayne's comes out next, and he's got either yellow pants or yellow shorts on, or yellow socks or shoes. And then Goldblum comes out shirtless for some reason, looking like a Miami Vice guy, and then he puts on his blue Miami shirt. And of course, when Valerie sees Goldblum come out for the first time, she's all starstruck and like, I like this alien. Then for whatever reason, they all take a picture together once they're all in non-alien looking attire. She's like, I don't think you took the before picture, so why you got to take the after picture? So then Candy has the idea for them all to go out partying together, because it's a Friday night and they got 3 cute boys that they can just hang out with for the night. Then of course Val goes on about how she can't believe that Ted would do the things they did to her and cheat on her. And then for whatever reason they stop at a dance club. I think originally Candy was just going to go in to do something because Val was staying in the car, but the aliens go in with her, and it's like this dance club, and Jim Carrey just goes right to the dancing booth. It's like a dancing cage. He's just pretty much drooling over the girl dancing inside of it. And then we also see inside this club, there's a lady walking around. It's like you're at the baseball game where you got the tray with the snacks on it. It's literally just a girl walking around with different condoms on this tray for people to pick out. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I could use that condom. And there might have been smokes there too. I didn't realize. I did see a bunch of condoms though, so there probably is smokes to go with it. Maybe a coat hanger for the wrong person. Is that a bad joke? Probably a bad joke. I probably edit that out, but I'm not going to. Just ignore it. It's fine. Then Val comes in the club because, they're only supposed to be gone for a few minutes, and the aliens are all partying up and actually drinking for the first time ever. So I don't know if we want to get these aliens drunk off the first night, but, it's what it is. You do your life. Then we see the 3 aliens going off on their own to dance with various people, and for whatever reason, Goldblum leaves his girl that he was dancing, and then we find Val looking up at the moon. She's up on the rooftop area that still has like a dance club vibe and whatnot. And Goldblum kicks the guy off the piano and starts playing it and gets Val's attention. He's like, "Oh, you know how to play piano? That's crazy. You got pianos on your planet?" And the alien breed is such a fast learner that he saw someone playing the piano on the TV. Automatically already knows how to play it just by watching someone else do it. And then we cut in the club, and Wayne's is having a dance off with some weird ass pimp who comes to get his girl. He's like, "Why would you dance with a loser when you kept a hero?" and bullshit. And then they have a dance off between each other, and then Wayne tries to jump back, and he's like, "Why are you dancing with a hero when you could be dancing with a loser?" He's like, "No, that's not how you should say it, but whatever works for you, buddy." The pimp gets mad because he's like, "No, he can't," because the girl's like, I'll dance with both of you guys," and the pimp's like, "Nah, he's not good at dancing. We're not dancing together. I'm not having my reputation tarnished by dancing with this fool." And then they have a dance off together where they're mimicking each other's moves, and at one point they jump in the cages and start dancing in the cages, and then at one point Wayne's is spinning around so fast that his shoes are actually starting to smoke, and of course he wins the dance off after that. Then we see a bunch of girls that are very in love with Carrie's character, I guess, because I think he's drinking out of a tall glass. He literally uses his tongue to go all the way down the glass to get the ice out of it, and the girls are fighting over. He's like, I want him. And then one girl comes over and just grabs his face. She's like, "He's mine," and walks away with him. And then we see Val and Goldblum walking around on the roof together, talking, and then Goldblum actually goes in to kiss her, and then Val hears one of the other guys, I don't know if it's like a scream or a happy yell, so they go down to check it out, and we see a bunch of girls wanting Wayne's autograph, like, autograph my head, autograph my boobs, this and that. And then we see Carrie making out, deep throating a girl, and there's a line of girls waiting for their chance afterwards. And then we see Ted finally coming back home with flowers for Val to try and kiss up and make up to her. And he walks in the place and he sees it's a mess, and he starts freaking out. He's like, "Can't find my fish. Can't find both my fish. Where's my fish?" And then he calls 911 to report a break-in and a possible kidnapping. And then of course, as soon as he gets off the phone, Val and the guys show up, and she's like, "Hi, you guys just act like humans, okay?" And then they walk in, and he's like, "Oh my god, I'm so happy you're home. I thought someone broke in, kidnapped you." And he's like, "Who's those guys?" And she's like, "Oh, MTV. I won a weekend with a band. This is my band, so they're staying here." And he's like, "No, they're not. They're not staying in my house." And then they start arguing between each other. And then Ted wants to kick the guys out of the house, and Val gets upset and says, "No, it's her home too." And then Jim Carrey puts one of the guys' fish in his mouth, and that pisses Ted off, and he starts attacking him and choke him on the floor. And then the officers show up, and Ted tries to have the cops arrest the guys, and Val speaks up. He's like, "No, we broke up. He's just upset with everything going on and doesn't want my friends around." So the cops like, "Oh, okay, call him back. We're going to make it a false police report." And then the cops goes to take Ted away because Ted calls one of the other officers a word because he's looking at his fish tank. And he's like, "Okay, you're going to the slammer to cool down for the night." Then Val goes to lay down to relax, and then Goldblum goes to check on her to make sure she's okay. And he's going on about how he can make her feel happy and whatnot. And she's like, "Oh, are you trying to come on to me for sex?" And he's like, "What's sex?" And she explains it to him, so then he just strips down. She's like, "Well, I don't think we're going to be compatible. We might not be compatible." He takes off the pants. She's like, "Oh yeah, we're compatible." And then she starts kissing him, and that's when the title of the movie comes in, saying she doesn't want him to think Earth girls are easy. Then the music and style of the movie really changes up, and there's a waterfall behind them, and the colors change, and there's glitter all over the place. Then Val wakes up after sex, but it's just a dream because there's a old school UFO movie playing on TV, and then she goes to turn it off, and then the whole screen turns black and white, and then we see it's the werewolf movie starting, and then she makes her way around the house and opens the fridge, and there's a Oompa Loompa in the fridge for some fucking reason. I don't understand why. And then she looks outside and everyone's aliens, and then the phone rings, so she goes to pick up the phone, but the receiver end of the phone is the same size as her body, and then she starts freaking out and screaming. And then that's when Ted comes over, because Ted was talking to an alien girl with 4 tits out, just hanging out, no big deal. And then Ted sees Goldblum's character, and they start fighting, and then she screams again, and she wakes up. And then we see Carrie and Wayne's peeking through the bedroom window, knocking out while they watch Val and Goldblum just relaxing and cuddling in bed together. And now we see the pool is finally drained, and we have the guys all working on the ship together. and they can actually leave now because apparently it only took like 5 minutes to fix the goddamn ship. And Val brings them out coffee, and then Goldblum mentions, we can go home now because the ship is fixed. And she's like a bit disappointed, and she's like, oh, I didn't think it would be fixed so soon. I figured it'd take a little bit longer. Then the phone rings, so Val goes to answer it, and then we see Woody showing up and asking, joking, like, what is that in the pool? What is that, a spaceship? And Goldblum's like, it's a funny spaceship. No, it's a car. He's like, she want me to drain it because her car's in the pool. Yeah, I've done that a few times. And he's like, what kind of car is it? And then they just kind of go off from there. Then we cut to Val on the phone. She's talking to Ted, and they're going about how the relationship is and the issues they have. And then, of course, Goldblum comes in to talk to her quickly, and then he realizes she's on the phone with him, so he kind of just dips out of the room. And then, of course, Woody's telling the guys outside by the pool how he can hook them up with girls, and they get all excited because they love girls. And then Goldblum, as he's leaving to go outside, he actually sees the other two leaving with Woody as they're driving down to the beach. Then we cut to the beach, and there's another musical that happens because apparently today at the beach is like Blonde Appreciation Day, and this blonde girl starts singing a song, and I don't care for it at all, to be honest with you. And then Woody goes to put some suntan lotion on a girl's legs, and her boyfriend's not too happy about it, so he starts getting tossed around the beach. And then they're leaving the beach afterwards, and Woody goes to stop to put gas in the car. And as the other two are sitting in the car, this little kid comes over with a toy gun and, goes bang bang at Wayne's. So he takes the gun from the kid and doesn't realize anything about it. And the kid starts complaining that someone took his gun. And then Woody's like, how about you guys, I'm paying for the gas and everything. How about you guys go inside, get some snacks and candy and stuff? So they go inside, but of course, Wayne still has the toy gun in his hand. And he just walks in with it, and the cashier just thinks that he's being robbed, so he gives him all the money. And Carrie's like, well, candy. You got candy? And then he gives him a bunch of candy, and they leave the little gas station. Then Woody comes in to pay for his gas, and the clerk tells him to get down because he just got robbed at gunpoint. And then this blonde, big fake boob girl comes in with like a pink Corvette or a Stingray, and she asks the guys to move because she needs to put gas in her car because she doesn't want to go into any of the other gas pumps, so she asks them to back up. And of course, Wayne doesn't know how to drive a car, but he jumps right in the driver's seat and turns it on and rams the front of her car. Then he puts it in reverse, and he backs through like this stuffed animal display that's on the corner of the road to raise money. Goes for that. Then he hits like a gas pump and somehow backs into the car wash going backwards. And then Woody's like, that's my car, what are you guys doing? And then Woody calls Val to talk to her and explain, so the guys kind of took off with my van, and they might have also like robbed the gas station. And then this whole time the police show up and they're talking to the fake boob lady, and she's like, that might be one of them over there. And at this point in time, Goldblum shows up to ask Woody where they are, and then the cops arrest both of them because the girl's like, that might be them, so he automatically goes to arrest them. Then we see Carrie and Wayne's driving like madman down the highway. I think they go for the beach at one point. But at one point, Carrie's driving the car in reverse going down the highway. And he's hanging out the driver window and driving with his feet. Like just both feet on the steering wheel. And then they go flying off the freeway and land inside this big giant, I forget what it's called. It was like raised donuts display. Like something you would see on The Simpsons with the big guy. And it's just, they land right perfectly in the middle of the display. Then Goldblum was on, like I said, on his way there with Woody. And then next thing we know, Goldblum in the backseat of the police car, and Woody's outside. He's like, hey, don't worry about it, dude. Jail's fine. That's where I learned to surf. Like, how the fuck did you learn to surf in jail? What the fuck were you doing? What kind of jail were you in? But then we cut and we see Goldblum in the backseat of the police car, and Val is now also with her, and they have a plan because they want to go to the hospital where Jim Carrey and Damian Wayne's characters are. And Val's like, you got that special love touch thing. Touch both of them and make them fall in love with each other, or do something to distract them. That way we don't get into jail. And he does it, and they all get weird and fuzzy feeling. And then the next thing you know, we cut, and Val's in the front seat driving the police car, and Goldblum's with her, and they're showing up at the hospital, and the two cops are in the back seat just being all cuddly and shit together. And then inside the hospital, we see the guys meeting up with their doctor for the day, which is, of course, Dr. Ted, who's like, oh, great, it's you guys again. Anyways, Ted being the doctor that he is, he goes to give them a checkout. He starts listening to their heartbeat. He's like, it's amazing, you guys both have 2 heartbeats. And that's when he pulls out this giant needle. He's like, you're mine now, son of a bitches. Then Val grabs one of the nurses and tells her, this is a gun, you're gonna follow me. And obviously it's not a joke or a gun at all. And she takes her into this room where this guy's held up in his bed, and he's in a full body cast, and she's telling her to strip down because Val wants her nurse outfit. And she's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. And she tells the guy to pull the panic button or press the panic button for help. He's like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. I want to see you get undressed. So then next thing we know, we see Goldblum and Val walking down the hallway hallway in disguise. She's as a nurse, he's as a doctor. They go into the operating room where Ted is getting ready to operate on them. I'm not sure why, but the nurse Val in her nurse outfit, she's like, no, you should be operating on them. This is the doctor's going to take over now. He's like, no, it's mine. I found them. They have 2 heartbeats. And he's like, yeah, just listen to it. He's like, no, you're being weird. Listen to my heartbeat. And that's when Goldblum's behind doing the fake heartbeat to make it sound like she's got 2 heartbeats. And then they all start making sounds together, and it starts freaking Ted out because then his pager goes off and he hears the phone ringing, but nothing's actually happening. And like each step that he takes, it makes a different sound, and he's going crazy and trying to get out of the room. And then they all get together and they're all escaping through the parking lot. They got the disguise is gone now, and they're using Ted's car to escape for some reason. I'm not sure if she's got keys, but of course, they get in the back seat, and then Ted sees Val outside his car and pleads for them to go home because like these last couple days have been really weird. It's been too hard on me. I just want to go home to work on a relationship. So then they get in the car together and they start making out, and that's when the guys skip out the back seat. But Ted says to her, let's go to Vegas and let's get married now. And then she's all shocked and confused, and that's when she starts kissing him because she thinks it's the right thing to do, because apparently they'll do a fancy wedding later on. He just wants to get the marriage essentially done and over with. But yeah, then they all go back home, like Ted's driving them back home, and we see him pulling into the driveway at the same time. We see the 3 guys coming through the bushes at the same time. So these aliens must work really fucking fast because they can keep up with a car. Then Val's in her room getting all her stuff ready that she needs, something new, something old, something blue, which wasn't really mentioned, I don't think. And then Ted's making a call to Barbara. She's like, yeah, can you get my shift covered for like the next week? I'm going to Vegas. You don't hear her talking on the other side of the phone conversation, but he's like, I'm going to go spend some money, have a good time. I'm going to get married. He kind of just says it quickly, and then we can definitely tell the person on the other line's a little upset. He's like, I'm just getting married. Just because I'm getting married doesn't mean we can't still date and do stuff together, because he's a man whore, of course. Then we see Valerie saying goodbye to the guys, and Ted comes out and he's pissed off, and Val tries to explain it to him, and then Ted gets worried that she's contaminated by the alien. So then Goldblum does his little love finger thing, and they start making out with each other as they're getting ready to leave. Like the spaceship's slowly starting to go up in the air, and then Val yells up at them saying that it didn't work and that she doesn't love him and that she loves Goldblum. So Goldblum's saying like, I missed her, right? Val is now essentially pleading and begging for Goldblum to take her with him, or them I should say, into space, and that they can be a happy family together essentially. And he does come back down to grab her, and then at this point Candy's showing up, and for whatever reason she goes right to the back pool too, and Val's getting in the spaceship and she's like, what are you doing? And she's like, well, I'm going off with my love. And she's very confused. She's like, are you sure you want to go in space? And anyway, she's got drinks with her. I forget what they were. I wasn't really paying attention. She goes to toss a drink, and it misses them, but it hits Woody, who's apparently sleeping on the ground behind the spaceship. He's waking up. He's like, have a fun time, Finland, or wherever it was. I forget now. And then we see Ted in the bottom of the empty pool, but now the cat's with him, and they're cuddling, and now I guess he's going to be in love with the cat. And then they fly through this into space, and they fly through this giant asteroid that's in the shape of a donut as a callback to where they crashed, I guess. And then that's the end of the movie, and the movie ends. It's a different movie. It's from 1988. The effects aren't that great, but for what it is, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cheesy and funny. It has its moments. It's a light adult comedy. It's got a little bit of a musical aspect to it. It's fun sci-fi. It's funny as hell to see Wayne's, Carrie, and Goldblum in their alien suits, because they're literally, their face are painted. You have a fursuit, and then essentially it's almost them just wearing like this space thong with slippers. Very unique. I might draw one of them at some point in time, or maybe all 3 of them and do it like a colored piece. But yeah, it's a fun movie. I'm glad it's done and checked off my checklist. Different, that's for sure. Definitely say check it out. It's like I said, it's free on Plex. You just gotta pay attention to the ads. The ads suck and all these free ads, but it is what it is. You get it in free stuff, and the quality of it was actually really great quality. It wasn't like a grainy VHS copy or anything like that, or TV copy. It was definitely a good Blu-ray or DVD copy that they have up on Plex. So I would definitely give it a 6.5 out of 10 on the Rotten scale. It's not something I'm going to rewatch again soon, but it does have a really good cast, and it's an early movie for their careers. I would recommend checking it out. Then again, I pretty much recommend all the movies I watch, even though some of them are horrible. But yeah, it's a fun movie, and if you guys are fans of Damon Wayans, Jim Carrey, or Jeff Goldblum, it's definitely worth, crossing off on your bucket list. But now we are at that point in time where we have to decide what we're going to watch next week. This one's a movie that I enjoyed a lot as a kid, so hopefully it holds up. It's been at least 10 years, I want to say, since I watched it last time. This is a 1987 PG movie for an hour and 46 minutes. It's Barry's not included. It's got 6.6 out of 10 on IMDb. I remember enjoying this movie. It's a fun little, alien movie. It's a kid-friendly movie kind of thing. I definitely enjoyed it as a kid, so hopefully it holds up. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see next week. And until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you again for, stopping by to listen. Hopefully you made it this far. If you only made it so far, that's fine too. I understand. Not a lot of people want to listen to me for a long period of time, and I'm totally okay with that. But yeah, I appreciate everything. I appreciate all the reviews, the shares, the likes, the comments, and just you guys spending time with me, if it's either here or on YouTube or wherever it is. I appreciate it all, and I'm glad you guys are here, and let's make 2023 a good year with lots of movie reviews, lots of artwork, and lots of gaming videos as well. With that being said, make sure to check out the outro band, Blood Opera. Their links will be down below as well. You can check them out on Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud. I'll have all their stuff down below. Make sure to follow me on all social medias at Typhonstein. That's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Pretty much anywhere you can find, social media wise, you'll find me somewhere. I might not be that active, but I'll be there probably. Yeah, with YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram being the main ones I post on. But eventually I'll get posting on everything. Hopefully there's like one day where you can just post on one thing and it goes to everything. But it is what it is. But yeah, I appreciate everything.
And I'll talk to you guys all later. Peace!